Hello, everyone. Well, looks like today is Monday. That's what we said, didn't we? We said Monday. It happened to Gannon, and Monday is going to be the verdict. And here we are. The verdict is in. I'm actually shaking like a leaf. I can't imagine the family. The verdict is in, you guys. Send all the good juju your way. Here we go. All right. My heart is pounding. We knew, we felt like it was going to be today, right? So it's today. So we have WebEx queued up. I'm going to make sure this is queued up. We still have up to 30 minutes or about 30 minutes. The families have to come in. Let me get WebEx all figured out just to pull it. Okay, there we have that. We don't need that on right yet, but it will be. Okay, there we go. Whew, my heart is racing. Yeah, get the Kleenex out. I got the Kleenex. I do have that. Not the ones that Letecia stuffed down her pants to hide her DNA. There was that too. Oh, I am shaking. Whew. It's going to be okay. It's going to be what we think, not what Letecia thinks it's going to be. We got a verdict. It's coming. So we just have to wait now for it to be announced, the judge to come in, the jury to come in. Do I have a pen is the question. I guess I'll use my phone as a notepad. Oh, my hands are, I can't even type. Okay, we had a little break. Hopefully everybody ate. I'm just going to make sure I retweet this. Okay, there we go. Okay, what are you saying? I knew it would be by the end of the day. I thought we'd still have a little couple more hours, but so basically to recap, the jurors had 4 hours, about 4 hours on Friday, including lunch. And then they've been in since 9 o'clock this morning, which is another 4 hours. So, my sister-in-law is calling me. I'll have to call her back. Okay, look at you guys. We're turning it blue. Light it up. I hope for his sake. Okay, not yet, Linda. No crying. No crying. Keep going. Light it up. Please tell me she goes to jail forever. I think so. Lots of love. Okay. He sure is. There he is. Oh, okay. We got to slow mode this. Okay, let's hang on, you guys, because I think the comments are going to come barreling in pretty quick. So I want to be able to help the mods out. Give a shout out to the mods too while you're throwing all the blue hearts for Gannon. Let's get that going. Okay. Hang on, mods. I'm coming to your rescue. You usually come to mine. Here we go. There, that should help. And I'm just going to do a couple details. So for those of you who are joining me, the verdict is in. We are just waiting now. We have up to a half an hour. So by 1:30 or less, we'll know. And the family will know. And we'll see what Letecia does, because there's a possibility she's not going to go, like I said, gentle into this good night. Let me fix a couple things here and then we can keep going. I don't know about you guys, my heart is racing and I got the jitters, even though I feel good about what it's going to be. But I still am nervous. Okay. There we go. Let's just name this here. Okay. Okay, we're breathing it out. Look at all the good love sent out. Okay. Dave says they got their free lunch, now verdict time. Okay, thanks, Dave. We were talking about that this morning, didn't we? I hope it's unanimous too. Cal says, me too, Linda, but I feel good about it. The jury seemed attentive. I'm nervous. You guys are also saying nervous. CL says she has no hope, guilty as sin. Carolyn says, will Maria speak in Spanish or Russian when the verdict is read? Possibly. Tiffy says, had to come over to see how Linda's doing. She's breathing. Lola says, my phone died and I cried because I thought I'd miss it. No, we're here. We're here for it. We have a little bit longer. So we have about 25 minutes or less. I'm not sure. It's up to 30 minutes. Or at least, yeah, longest 30 minutes. So KKTV said the live will start at 1:15. Kate says, worried. Anyone else? My heart is pounding. Emily says, Linda, thanks for seeing this to the end. Absolutely. Also, S. Jane says, heart is absolutely pounding right now. It's never going to be good enough. Agreed. But I just hope Gannon gets even an ounce of justice. Maria being found guilty without the insanity part. I think I can pin that. Possibly that's pinned. I'm not too sure. Wouldn't watch this verdict with anyone else. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. And we can all be here for some emotional support. Oh, I feel sick. Veruca, nice to see you. Thank you. It ain't the butterfly says, Linda, I'm so honored to have been here from the beginning and now the end with you. Justice for Gannon. Thank you for being with me here, you guys. Shelly Ann says, I love the positivity you're putting out in the universe, Linda. I do try. That I do. So how long did they deliberate? Well, according to from Friday was about 4 hours, including lunch, and today was about 4 hours. So 8 hours in total. Plus they had the whole weekend to think about it. And so here we are. Ugh. Dawn has it down to the minute, 7 hours and 55 minutes. Okay, look at all the blue, beautiful hearts. Okay, make sure this is up. Looks like they're playing around with the one of the videos, or one of the cameras, I should say. Okay, everybody breathe deep. Breathe in, breathe out. Thank you, Elizabeth. Susanna says, my anxiety is absolutely 100 right now. Gannon, you'll get your justice, baby. We all love you. Absolutely. I cannot imagine how Landon and Albert feel right now. I can't. And they're times by a billion what with this coming in. Do I need to slow the chat some more a little bit, or is it okay? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. We are all in this together. 3.5 years. And now we have an answer on a Monday. We said this morning. What happened to Gannon was on a Monday, and today the verdict's going to be read on a Monday. And justice is going to be served. Oh, hi! Dr. Edward says, Linda, we're so happy, but I remember and will never forget your devotion to Gannon. We are blessed by you, Linda. Thank you. Thank you. Martha, well done, Linda. Thank you. 15 more minutes. I will stop crying just in time to start crying again. Don't you cry, otherwise I'm going to cry. Not yet. Not yet. I can't right now. Listen, Linda, we're all on the verge of a heart attack. I know. It's just a lot. Kathleen, thank you. So we're getting there. It's 107 right now. According to the Twitter page, where was I with that? That was at 12:49 p.m. So we have about 10 more minutes. 13 minutes, depending. It is a good thing I wasn't in court. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I would feel like I'd pass out in there. I love that you guys have all the blue hearts for him. Thank you so much for being here. Barbara says, please come back sooner. I hope she gets hers. She'll get it. We're going to have faith. This is what it is. We're going to have faith. Okay. It might be really fast too on the chat right now because of all the blue hearts. Okay. Chat's really fast. I'll just maybe tweak it just a bit. Not too much, so you guys can still chat. Okay. Love these messages for him. Verdict has not been in yet. We are going to find out in about 11 minutes. 10, 11, could be shorter. Could be maybe a couple more. The family has to get there, right? The family has to get there. Firefly, I recognize you. Been watching you since before you started covering this. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for watching. Yes. I woke up this morning thinking about it. I thought, it's on a Monday. Today's Monday. Let's do this. Yeah, it is for me too. The goddess says, I just have to say all the positive and loving energy in this chat is so powerful. A lot of us are day ones for this channel. The unity makes me emotional. Me too. Yeah, no, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. It's okay. We're here. We're doing this together. So 9 minutes. Just be prepared because we don't know what Letitia's going to do. And let's just put a bubble around the family um from here because I don't know. She's so um devious and manipulative and you just don't know what she's going to say and what words are going to come out of her mouth. So, let's just put a bubble around the family and hopefully she can just zip her lip and be gone. Me too. Our hearts are racing too. My hands are just like you can probably see it. Agreed. Nobody wins. Agreed. And you can't take them back. But you certainly can make sure she doesn't do anything to anybody else. Okay, we have 8 minutes or less. 7. It's coming. I'm going to get my notes out just in case. Oh, Megan says she's stress eating. I've been stress eating for 3 or 4 weeks now. Summer, I have to get the summer slim down going in soon because it's been a lot of chocolate. My face is not liking it. Uh, there's been a lot of chocolate and a lot of junk food in the last couple weeks, which is not typically like me, but I have been stuffing my emotions a little bit. And the pounds on the scale went up a little bit, but have given myself some grace. Giving myself some grace. Jennifer says T's reaction to the verdict, hide all drink cans. Yes, remember the monster drink she chucked? Absolutely. It was very sweet. Thank you for watching all of us together. Thank you. It's full circle. Frankie says Gannon was a fighter his whole life. Even after his passing, he fought for the truth to come to light. It did. Justice is coming today. I agree. Gannon was born just pound 6 ounces, just a little guy, little preemie. Fought for his life then. Fought for the last day he was on this earth. And now we'll see what happens today. But I have faith. I have faith in, I've said this from the beginning, the prosecution, the jurors. They came to a decision. Let's see what it is. We don't know about the sentencing. That's the other thing. It's up to the judge. From what I understand, it could be today, it could be next week, it could be whenever they book it. I don't know. I hope that the sentencing comes today too, so that all of it is in one stop shop kind of thing, one go. Let it be for the family so that they can move forward and put this behind them. What Letecia has done, not just the beginning of all this, because that is it beyond measure in itself. But the past 3 years of her BS shenanigans in court and all that is just, it just is nothing like I've seen before, and it's just what that does to the family is just beyond. So I hope she gets a sentence that's fitting for all of it. All of it. Okay, we got, I think, less than 5 minutes. You made it. Jessa asks, did I make it? You made it. So we still have a few minutes left. Abby says, Linda, do you think she'll have an outburst when they find her guilty? Quite possible. I do. Quite possible. I've warned everybody that she might not go easy. I'm just going to put a bubble around the family so they don't have to hear whatever she has to say. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's 80 videos later, 90 videos, whatever it is now. Yes. What she did to the family, what she did to Gannon, and then also on top of everything, it's just, it's not even human. So we'll see what happens with her, and she can cry about her peanut butter all she wants. All right, we have a couple minutes left. So we'll get that kind of going first. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I'm going to pronounce as Dardenne Creek. Hopefully I said that right. We're going to get the verdict right here. There's no need to hop anywhere. We got it right here. Thank you for staying with this case since the beginning. I would only watch the verdict with you in chat. Justice for Gannon. Thank you. Thanks for being here, everybody. We can all sweat together. That's the thing. The family, I can't even imagine. And tomorrow, when this is over, we move on, but the family is still without Gannon. It's like, this is like, we're in minutes here. A local attorney with a YouTube channel said, regardless of the DP still being in effect when Gannon was killed, he didn't think it was on the table for her. Thank you for letting me know. Lisa says, praying that the jury noticed that Maria told Dr. Lewis that everyone was upset because Letecia's son was missing. Clearly, LS is feigning. Yeah. Yes, I remember you too. Thank you for being here, you guys. I started 36 months with you because again, and we've come full circle. I hope G-Man knows how many people he brought together. Thank you. I have him here too. He's right here. Can you see him? Here. Might have to take him off here. There we go. There he is. I'll hold him. Let's see if we can switch this for a minute. Oh, there we go. We'll do it like that until it goes on. There he is, right there. Scott says, I'd be shocked at not guilty or NGRI. This is a short deliberation in the grand scheme of things, less than 8 days, then less than 8 days, 8 working hours. And I think NGR would take much longer deliberation. So we are any minute now, because it was 12:49 that they put it up on the tweet. And so that would make us a half an hour now. So it's any minute. Angie says, your absolute devotion to this case is amazing. Your emotions are true, and Gannon is lucky to have you. Okay, that's going to make me cry. Did what I can. Need water. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna tough it out. We're gonna tough it out. We're gonna get this thing going. Justice is loading. I like that, Maui girl. I like that. Give a big thumbs up to the mods in here. They do such a great job having such a good community, a great community. We have an amazing community. I'm super grateful. Getting close. Scrolling, you guys. It should be any minute now. Family walked in now. Okay. Okay, we have WebEx up, so any minute now. Miss Chris says, I hope they sentence each of her personalities to life. I wonder what the judge is going to say. I think the judge is going to, I'm sure he's going to give a stern kind of talking to her in some sort. I wonder what he's going to say. I've never seen Judge Werner before this, so. Yeah, I played that a lot. Of course I'm going to tune in. Came back to see Gannon's case out with Linda. She's who I followed from the start, and I'm not sure what that is. Thank you for all the dignity and respect you've shown for Gannon, Al, Landon, and Lena. Thank you. I'll make sure this is going to be up right up as well, the volume courtroom. Make sure WebEx is still going, so that's going. That's sweet. We have 4,500 friends joining us right now. I want to put Gannon where we could see him. See if we could put him up like this. Might not be able to see him there. Can we see him? You see my ring light. There we go. Stand him up there. I'll move over. Catherine says, Linda, thank you so much for all you've done for Gannon. He's always going to be in my heart. You make me confident that I'm not the only one. Thank you. He is. I won't forget him ever, ever, ever. It's okay, you guys. Breathe it out. We're almost there. We are almost there. I'm trying to breathe too. My heart. I don't have my watch on right now. I wonder what it says. Maybe I'm in fat burning mode. That would be good. If my heart rate was high enough that I'm at least burning some fat while I was sitting here. Oh, my stomach. I don't know whether I feel sick or like my hands are clammy and I'm nervous. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I love that you guys are here with me too, and that we're able to see this all together after 3+ years. Yeah, bittersweet, absolutely. I'm nervous too at what I don't know, I just feel like she's going to do something. I'd be very surprised if she doesn't, unless I don't know. I can't really tell Letecia what to do. She'll do whatever she wants. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Hello, Jeremy. Nice to see you as always. is that a joke, or today is actually National Maria Day? Oh, the nerves right now. Come on, you guys. It's like what? That's 40 minutes now. So the family has to get here, right? The family has to get here. This is intense. I hope I can press the buttons. Justice for the sweet boy. I've been with you since day one. I'm from Pensacola, so it's extra hard knowing I've driven over that bridge many times. Yeah. Thank you. Wes says to my wife, shh, I'm trying to listen. Okay. That stands for not guilty by reason of insanity. The exact opposite of what Letecia is, in my opinion. Okay. We'll just picture them coming into the courtroom right now. They're just getting set up. Yes, I'm going to show the courtroom. You can see in this little, I guess, window where I'm at here beside me to my left, you can see the courtrooms. That's WebEx. That'll turn on, that'll flick on, and then we'll see. So I will switch it to a bigger screen like that when we're ready, and then we'll be able to watch. Okay. Yeah, I know. I've been blubbering like a baby all weekend over this. Yesterday was really hard to record. Had a hard time. I had to give myself a pep talk quite a lot yesterday to get the recording. And then there was some weird stuff going on with recording, but I'm not crying, you're crying. I know I'm trying not to. Okay, come on. We're at what? 40 minutes now? Okay, so one chopping onions. Okay. Oh, I know. Sorry, now I'm gonna cry. Stop. There is a lot of onions in here. How many charges? 4. Um, murder in the first, murder in the first degree with a child under 12, tampering with evidence, and tampering with a human deceased body. A deceased human body. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you for being here and watching my videos and being here for our little buddy Gannon. Goosebumps, yeah. Thank you. 50, almost 5,300 here hanging out together as a big family. It's a crime. Really likes the judge. I heard a lot of that. They said his voice is sexy. I just read that. A lot of you guys said you wanted to hear Judge Werner like voice to put you to sleep. Charlotte says, I'm freezing. I'm nervous. Just pray. I know. It's coming. It's coming. Hoping, praying that our little hero Gannon and his family will get their well deserved justice. Thank you for excellent coverage. It's coming. Thank you. Heather says, people are walking in now. Okay. We are moments away, you guys, from hearing the verdict for Letecia Stauch for the murder of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch, who doesn't get a chance to grow up, doesn't get a chance to experience peanut butter like Leticia's experiencing peanut butter. He doesn't get to be with his family. So we hope that it's the verdict that we want to hear, and I think it is. And we'll hear what the judge says. We'll hear about her sentencing. I wish I had a pen. I don't even think I can walk right now, to be honest. I feel so shaky. I don't even think I can walk. So that's okay. I'll have my phone to type in some things if I need to. I'm sure I'll remember it, but there's been a lot of information coming in my brain. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, good. GTSY is good to see you. Okay, I learned something. I'm sure if I asked my son, he would just roll his eyes at me. Nope, didn't miss the verdict. It's coming in any minute. I like little Gannon's army. Thank you. You guys are my home too. Maybe if I put Gannon up here, see if you guys can see him there without the light. There we go. Oh, there. Then somebody did right after that. You said breathe it out, and I start doing Lamaze. Do what you need to do, whatever you can learn to do, right? It's coming any minute here. Got to get the families in. They're all coming in. They gotta sit down. Jurors have to, like it's coming. Welcome. One big happy 5,647 people family. I got the blue on too today. More stripes. Friday I wore blue stripes. Blue for Gannon, stripes for Letecia. This is when I found you had never seen anything like your detailed deep diving. Yeah, justice is here. It's coming. I'm so happy you guys are here. I think all of us are feeling it. Families. Okay, here we go. They're going to be adding this up, so let me cue it up for you guys.
I don't have a camera button over here this time.
I'm going to see if I can get this bigger.
They're not on yet.
I'm sure you guys want to see that, right?
Okay.
That's all I could get as big as I can.
All right. Court will call 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury is not present in the courtroom. I've been advised that the jury has reached verdicts in this case. Before I bring the jury in, I want to remind everybody of a couple of things. First of all, if you have a phone out, put it away, unless you are in this front row. In addition, I know that this is an emotional case. I get that. I understand that. Really, I do. But this jury has worked hard. So regardless of whether you agree with or don't agree with their verdict, you need to exercise appropriate decorum. So let's not have any emotional outbursts or anything like that. And I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in. Now that I have you doing something else. Okay. But they all seem to be on. It doesn't matter to me. I see it. So long as it's podcasting, I just wanted to make sure that was not the issue.
Well, your head's up today.
All rise for the jury, please. Thank you. May all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I see that juror number 5, that would be you, has all the instructions and things like that. That's usually a tip-off to me that you might be the foreperson. Are you in fact the foreperson? And has the jury reached verdicts in this case? Yes. All right, if you would hand the instructions and the verdict forms to Mr. Sproul, please. Thank you. All right, the verdict forms do appear to be in proper order. I will have a question for you because there's some extra writing on here, but I think I understand what's going on. So with respect to count number 1, charge of murder in the first degree after deliberation, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. With respect to count number 2, charge of murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. With respect to count number 3, charge of tampering with a deceased human body, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body. With respect to count number 4, charge of tampering with physical evidence, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 4, tampering with physical evidence. I wanted to ask the jury, or actually the foreperson, there is some extra writing on here with respect to question number 1. There's a cross through and some initials. And then on part B, there's also a cross through with initials. Was that signifying that you were not answering that and you intended to answer guilty as to that charge? Yes. All right. And is that what you intended with all of the other verdict forms? Yes. All right. With that, does either side wish to have the jury poll the prosecution? Yes, Your Honor. All right, what this means is that this is a process that is sometimes requested by the attorneys following a verdict to make sure that everybody has agreed on all parts of it. So I'll go down the row, starting in the back. Juror number 1, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 2, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 3, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 4, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 5, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 6, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 7, is this and are these your verdicts? Yes, sir. Juror number 8, is this and are these your verdicts? Yes. Juror number 9, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 10, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 11, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 12, is this and are these your verdicts? I want to thank all of you for your service. Jurors don't get a lot of training. However, you all were selected because you were willing to be open-minded and impartial, and were willing to make decisions based on the facts and the law. You, the jury, heard and saw the evidence. You paid attention all day, every day. Someone else may tell you they disagree with your verdict or some aspect of your service. They may want to express their opinion on the matter. However, We didn't ask them for any of their opinions. We asked you for your judgment. We asked you for your verdict based on the law and based on the evidence. Someone else may tell you they think they're better and smarter and more intuitive than all of you were. Ignore them. As a judge, rarely does a day go by that I don't make somebody in the courtroom mad. The fact that some people may disagree with your verdict or the law only means that those who disagree with you were not carefully selected to be fair and impartial. They did not take an oath to follow the law and to judge all of the facts, and they see it differently from you because they didn't see it all from the perspective you did. And they did not discuss the facts with 11 others who were also fair and impartial and sworn to follow the law. You decided this case. This verdict is your verdict. And this is the verdict in the case. No poll, no approval or disapproval, and no press analysis changes that fact. This is the verdict in the case. The press or someone else at some point may wish to talk to you. We live in a world of exceptional voyeurism in reality TV, and this is about as real as it gets. They may try to dissect the evidence, your thought process, and your decision. It's a free country. Anyone can ask you anything about your verdict. You can answer if you choose. They can also, however, respect your privacy and allow you to contact them only if you want to talk to them. And if you don't want to, you don't have to talk to anyone about your verdict. If you do talk with someone, you can tell them as little or as much as you like. Someone may even ask you to give an affidavit regarding some aspect of your jury service. You're free to give an affidavit. You're free to decline to give an affidavit. That is a personal decision you are entitled to make. If anyone continues to talk to you after you have told them you do not want to speak about the matter or becomes critical of you or your jury service, please report that incident to me. Again, I want to thank you very much for your service. Without honest people of our community serving on jurors, we cannot secure the right to a jury trial in this country. And it's a very valuable and a very important right. I want to leave you with some language from a case that was decided by the United States Supreme Court in Louisiana versus Duncan. In that case, an individual was denied the right to a jury by trial, or a trial by jury, sorry. And that case went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court sent it back to the state of Louisiana. It said, you need to give this man what the Constitution requires, which is a trial by jury. And when it sent the case back to Louisiana, it said, we believe that trial by jury is fundamental to the American scheme of justice. Trial by jury is more than an instrument of justice and more than one wheel of the Constitution. It is the lamp that shows that freedom lives. Without your dedication and sacrifice, that lamp would not shine as brightly as it does. So I truly thank you for your service. You are now discharged with the thanks of the court. And for the last time, all rise for the jury, please. Thank you. You may all be seated. I don't know how you want to proceed on sentencing. I do need to talk to the jury for a few minutes because I need to tell them some things about security issues, counseling issues, and things like that. So I do need to talk with them for a few minutes. I also didn't know if the family, the prosecution, anybody wanted to have some time to process the verdicts. I also understand that everybody's been here for 5 weeks, so I get that part too. So I'm open to whatever you want to do with respect to sentencing, but I probably am going to need at least a half an hour with the jury.
I think that would be appropriate, Judge. The people are obviously ready to go to immediate sentencing. I believe defense is as well.
Okay.
And I can tell you that the family's been thinking about this day for over 3 years. They're ready to go to sentencing as well.
Okay, then give me about 30 minutes and we will come back and proceed to sentencing at that point in time.
All right. Letecia little yawns. Okay, the hugging's getting. Oh. Look at this for a moment, you guys. You have everybody hugging. And the girl who cried wolf is sipping her drink. Look at that. That is a moment. There she goes. She's gonna take a little peek. Couple yawns. Let's see what happens in sentencing. There she is looking. You see that? Do you notice she's peeking out the side of her face, out of her side of her eye? And Will Cook is just bouncing in his chair. Okay, so we have a half an hour. We have a half an hour. I'm just going to edit the title here. Sentencing is coming. Okay. So here we are. They're going to do sentencing today. Let me just get this. Here we go. So Zombie Head's asking about, we know she's guilty, but they didn't say if she was guilty by reason of sanity. She was saying she was pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. So she was saying, yeah, she did it, but it was because she was insane. And they're saying, no, she's just guilty. So now the sentencing comes. So sentencing's coming in a half an hour. So by 2:20, we will have them come back and then they're going to get the sentencing going. What I love is Michael Allen is always for the family. Be over and above and beyond. He makes sure everybody knows it. Because he says right away, look, the family's ready to do it today. They've been waiting for 3.5 years, you know? She's yawning. She's doing all that. Yeah, anyways. So, okay, so my WebEx went off. That's okay. We'll start it back up in a half an hour again. Okay, so look at that. On a Monday, our little buddy got justice. So she's guilty on all 4 counts if you're just coming in. And now we have a half an hour and we're going to find out the sentencing. And let's see what happens. Whew. Thank God it's today for sentencing too, so we got all in one. I don't know, I'm sure if I'm sure if the family wanted to do victim impact statements, I'm sure Michael Allen find a way to do that today. I don't know if they will today or not, or if, I'm sure they'll be giving the option, I'm sure. I don't know if they will. So we'll see. She just looked like, yeah, well, it was almost like to her, like, when you sit in a movie and it's boring to her, it's like that. So we'll see what's going to happen. So we have 30 minutes now or less to sentencing. So the judge right now is talking to the jurors. Michael Allen said, yeah, we want to take the opportunity to do the sentencing and get this finished. I don't think it'll be the last time we hear about Letecia Stauch. But at least she'll be in jail and she can eat all the meat she wants. Yeah, somebody's saying she looked like they gave her good meds. Quite possibly. So we'll see. I'm curious at what the judge is going to say. I mean, she's never going to see the light of day again. So we'll see what they say. So we have 20 minutes, 25 minutes until they do the sentencing. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling like justice is being served up hot for Letecia. I'll feel better once sentencing is done. And there's a lot of people that are grateful today. I do hope that they are able to read these victim impact statements, and I sure hope she's not going to cover her ears like the last. Because if I was that judge and she did that, I'd be saying, you sit up, you take your listening ears and you open them up and you listen to what each person has to say and how you have affected that. No way. Because she sat the whole time like this, head down on the notebook. I have pictures of her. It's ridiculous. So we'll see what the judge says. You guys want me to update my sign while I wait? I don't even know where I'm at. Oh yeah, I guess I could. Whew. Are you guys a little bit calmer now? Do you feel the jitters are gone? Because I still got the jitters. I still have the jitters, but I feel better. I feel better. All right, where are we at? 2 o'clock. So what did we say? It was about 1:50 they were finished. So we have 20 more minutes. Is that right? Because I'm going to start to lose time now. I can't wait to hear what Judge Werner says as well. Agreed. Agreed. She's thinks that her biggest worry is about her peanut butter in county jail. Does anybody know what the actual place she's going to? Do you know the name of it? I'm curious about that. Where she's going, where she's heading. I'd like to know that. I misspoke. Not everyone was hugging Marie, and her attorneys looked quite lonely over there. Enjoy the sun on your faces tomorrow. Letecia never will. It's a good point. Yeah, she should be listening to every single freaking minute. So we are one step in. We have the verdict in. And now we have 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, and we'll find out the sentencing. And, well, I guess the victim impact statements. And then. Oh yes, Sarah, I know. I woke up this morning thinking about that. And I said in an early stream this morning, I said it started on a Monday and it's going to end on a Monday. You bet. Might have been thunder out there. It's supposed to be thundering. Or supposed to be what's the word? Storming. Lori and Jed, you're next. Mandy says, may she be confronted daily with the memories of every evil deed she committed on that poor child for the rest of her existence. The thing is about that is I think she actually is okay with that. Unfortunately. But I do like the idea about the cards for her ace in the hole. Maybe I will write her a letter. She knows who I am. Maybe I will. After this is now all done. Hope they give her meat sandwiches every day. Without the bread. Correct. She pled not guilty by correct. I think I said that, but I think I'm behind on my I'm behind on my comments a little bit. I'm just scrolling. Guilty on all 4 counts. Yeah, write her a letter. See, you guys are on board. I do what I do. See that earlier. Somebody just requested me to say it. I do what I do. I can't believe today's National Maria Day. Linda says, you need to do something for yourself after this over, Linda. Thank you so much for your sensitive coverage of this terrible crime. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of time. I think this has been rough. When his preliminary was on, his preliminary hearing, I was a hot mess on that too. That one, I just bawled, and I said I was married at the time, and I just said to ex Mr. Linda, ex Linda, I just said, how am I going to do this every day and watch it? And I was crying. Yeah, Letecia would answer my questions. I would ask. I started getting a hint of that she was watching because all of a sudden I'd see these these things pop up into another reporter. So I started directly looking into the camera, go, Letecia, this is what I don't understand. And she would go to Crime Online or whatever. She'd answer these questions that she prepared. And at that time, when I started my channel, Letecia or true crime really wasn't like how it is today. It was, I don't know, maybe I don't want to say a handful, but there really wasn't a whole lot of true crime YouTubers at the time. And there definitely wasn't, that I can think of or remember, people who are ex-cops or are police officers or lawyers and all that. Maybe lawyer, because I think there was a few, but there really wasn't how it is today, where we have behavior analysts, and we have this expert and this expert and this retired expert. Back then, there wasn't, and there really wasn't at that time. They didn't have a lot of even news channels on YouTube that are like today. So it was very different. And what happened was, when I started covering these cases, a lot of the suspects, or we thought would be suspects, would come into comments, or they would email, or they would, not everybody, but there would be certain aspects that I know they were watching. So I would go hard on the timelines and make sure that I get that all done, thinking, okay, well, maybe that the officers are watching, or the detectives, or they want something visually, or whatever I could do, I was doing it. And I still do it. But yeah, back then it was very different. So, and Letecia liked to go into the Facebook groups. She liked to do all kinds of things. So I would just collect it and put it together, and then, present it, plus my own Linda isms. I did quite a few I would dissect her statements, and just say, okay, like, this is what I believe she really means. This is what she's going to do. And I've mentioned this before, but I remember the moment, or I did one of the videos, like, as I said, as this investigation was going, I would comb the information all day, put it in a video, put it up, stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, dissect the information, do this every day. I poured myself into it. And I remember that I kept saying, well, this is a woman who's going to go the distance. She's going to go the distance. I said that very early on. And I remember saying something about going north to Colorado, or north of Colorado Springs, out of this city. And sure enough, I saw it 1 or 2 days later, and that freaked me out. Like, I actually was like, holy crap, this is, I don't know. It just kind of, it spooked me. And I just was every day trying to find, like, where could she have gone? Yeah. Anyways, I said she went the distance. She ended up going the distance, didn't she? There are 2 female prisons in Colorado, one in Denver, one in Pueblo. Feel like it might be Pueblo. Linda, she should write her when she settles in where I'm going to see if she has anything to say. I'm sure she will. I'm heading to Escambia Bridge to release balloons for Gannon. Aw. Thank you. Razzmatazz says, currently, Colorado operates 2 correctional facilities for women. The Denver Women's Correctional Facility and La Vista Correctional Facility. Oh, thank you guys for the laughter sometimes, because holy, can it get dark. Yes, wouldn't that be nice? I would like to start with a massage, because I have really bad, my muscles are all over the place. And the 5 or 7 pounds I put on by stuffing my face the last month. It's okay. I'm gonna be good to myself. It's okay that I gained a few pounds. Scott says, "Thank you, Linda, for everything you've done and help bring exposure and information to this case. You brought it to my attention. I hope for this day since." Thank you for watching. Thank you all for watching. One of the things that I noticed when I first started too, when I was saying there really wasn't the news channels, there really wasn't much of anything in the true crime genre. There was, but really, it was the start of it, I feel like. And one of the things I noticed, of course, is that you only get a couple minutes on the news, right? You don't get that long. So when I started doing the videos together, I thought, well, this is perfect because we can have a spot to present things, the timelines go deeper, people's watching, they're from the neighborhood, they're from Colorado, they're looking for a little boy, and get it out there that way. Because a lot of times people are saying, well, I don't watch TV, or I only have a couple, they only said for a minute what actually is going on, and then people are climbing for information. I'm sure it's the same now too, right? So crafty criminalist with Miss Z, thank you, thanks for your super chat. Yeah, so it was just so different. Yeah, Ash says, "I'm so out of the loop. I didn't know we were divorced." Well, I'm not officially divorced yet. It'll be a month. Sorry, it'll be a year next month, almost to the day. So where are we? We still have a little. Oh, we're getting there. Look at, see my yapping here. Time's going a little fast now. Not so much like before. It's okay, you guys. It's okay. We are amicable. It's all good. But I had to get myself a middle finger ring because it was a little, empty over in the left hand. Do I have the flu or is it emotion? It's emotion. It's been emotional. Agreed. After Daybell, yeah, it's just one after another. And then in June we have Brian Koberger. We also have Delphi. There's some Delphi stuff coming up. Oh, La Vista is minimum. She'll go to Denver. Yeah, you know what, Scott? Go breathe it out. Go in nature for sure. I don't know where you're at, what state or wherever you are, but I will probably go in somewhere nature. I wish I could take a vacation, but not yet. Crystal says, thankfully in Colorado, there's only one sentence for her: life without parole, no thinking necessary. Jam says, Linda, the prosecution rested in the West trial. Now we need justice for Orrin Orson. Okay, I wasn't too sure. I thought this week. I thought maybe by the end of the week. Okay, thank you for the heads up. I got to do that now and dive in as well. Hard to split myself. I need literally 8 hands. It's it's hard. Steve says, Linda had the best coverage. Her timeline was so close to the prosecutions. Thank you, Steve. I love timelines. For those of you who don't know me, I do love timelines, and I'm always going back to the timeline and looking. You can see tons of timelines too in Lori's. In every case, I really do a timeline. I do like that. They had some extra info I didn't know about. Do you guys all usually watch the trials? Like any type of trial, even if you haven't watched necessarily the case before? Do you like to do that? Or do you watch the case and then watch the trial? I've been watching before the 144,000. I love your show. Thanks for watching. Oh, that was not the only criminal watching. Barry Morphew also. Uh, that was interesting. I deliberately, there's a couple things I deliberately did. So it was Suzanne and Barry's anniversary in August, and I was encouraged to do a video before, but I purposely never put the video out until after their anniversary because I felt like Barry would want to exhale after that. So I purposely put it after and then poke the bear a little bit, poke bear. So there's another one that I had an email from the person, from the person who was a suspect or was a silent suspect, let's just person of interest. And I had asked, like, sure, I can talk to you, no problem, or however you want to do that. And then they decided against it. So she behaved after the judge stopped her flipping the finger. Yeah, except she was, head on her desk, and then she was flirting with her lawyer. And even today, she was smiling talking to him. I don't know what he said to her. I owned Barry hard. Yeah, I went after him. Linda, I remember when they found Gannon, I sat waiting for you to go live so I could check in on you. You're so invested. I knew you'd be hurting. Oh, that was an awful day. It was awful. Yeah. I would love to see Linda talk to her after it's all done. It would be interesting to say the least. Well, a different altar would come out that day if I talked to her. Oh, yes. Justin Evans as well. The roommate's girlfriend, Kiara, she was in my chat. She was talking about me all over the place. I invited her on very, very early on. And I can't remember how many viewers or how many subs I had at that time, subscribers. But this was before I was even said anything about her onto her, and I invited her. And she would not say anything, neither would her mom. And then she went to a very small channel and did an interview, but she wouldn't on me, even though I said, yeah, sure, come on here, tell your side, it's all good. And then after that, I got her number, meaning I knew what she was all about. And then I had some pretty nasty emails from the roommate's brother because I started dialing in on what was going on. They didn't like it too much. So that was interesting. They usually do to some aspect, whether they out themselves or not. Here comes the thunder. Should be soon. Do you guys hear the thunder? Maybe not. Okay, just one sec. I'm just checking in. We have 51 of our buddies, 5,100 of our buddies hanging out together. I hope the jury member gets the courage to talk to. I want to hear what they went through in their minds. She's going to try to escape. I wonder if they have any broomsticks there for her. Remember, she tried to escape with using a broomstick and promote, what do you call it? Or bribe an inmate. Poor Pueblo. She didn't watch from how could she watch you from prison? She was watching me as the investigation was going on. And she was trying to cover her butt. In fact, I made a huge stink about Eduardo, and then she changed it to Edgar, but I don't know if that's directly from me, but I did raise a stink about it being Eduardo and how stupid it was. In some states, the prisoners didn't know where or when they're going until after they're in transit. Interesting. There's another place she can be going. So it sounds like she's going to be going to Denver. An email, okay. I'll double check that. So we should be getting close now, you guys. It's about half an hour. Okay, WebEx. Okay, we're just gonna put this back on. And then I'm gonna pull that in. Okay, there, we got that all queued up. Thank you. Thank you for watching, you guys. Thank you for watching all my videos. That helps a lot, and it gets the word out there. I follow you from almost the beginning of the channel. Always look forward to your thoughts and genius. You're truly a gift. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are sad about Mr. Linda. It's okay. Off topic. Have you heard any update on Justin? The cops don't want to investigate it because they screwed up huge, in my opinion. And we all know that it wasn't a suicide, which is ridiculous. So I might revisit it. Kiara actually had a baby. She had a baby. Yeah, remember my yellow background? That's funny. I've prided myself to be the first comment on your uploads to wish you love and thanks. Thank you. I do look at in every video I do. I always go into the comments. I always look at what people are saying and do my best to comment. Sometimes I can't. Well, I obviously can't comment all back because sometimes there's 1,000 comments on my videos. But I do my best to go in there and I wake up and start answering whatever I can. Here we go.
Right, you're short. All right. All right, court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. My understanding is that both sides are prepared to proceed to sentencing. Is that accurate? Prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
All right, before we start, well, first of all, I assume that we're going to have some family members.
We have some family members and other people that were affected by this case that would like to speak, yes.
Sure, all right. Before we start, I want to remind everybody that I am the person that imposes the sentence in this case. That means that when you come up to the podium, you address all your comments to me. You need to do that in a respectful fashion. Remember the decorum. You guys have done great for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And I know we're at the end now, but it's still important to continue with that type of appropriate and proper conduct. So if there's anyone that is going to speak as to sentencing, you don't turn and face the defendant. All your comments are directed to me. In addition, Ms. Stauch, you'll have an opportunity to make a statement to the court as well. Same rule applies to you. Your comments are directed to me. You don't turn and face anybody in the gallery or anybody else. If you have any comments, you make them to me. So with that, prosecution.
Before we get started, I just got a notification that it sounds like maybe on WebEx, your mic might be off, or I was just getting a notification that people are not hearing that.
It looks like it's on. Or my tab says it's on.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
He says it's working. It may not have been on a little bit ago, and we were having a technical issue, and I think it got restarted. So I think we're okay now.
Okay.
So, but if you continue to get messages, let me know.
I will do, Judge.
Okay.
The first person that would like to make a statement to the court is Nicole.
All right.
And I'll have each person spell a name for the court report.
Yes. All right. Just step up to the podium there and just state your name and then tell me what you have to tell me.
Nicole Mobley, Nicole Mobley. I just want to initially thank you for everything that you've done through all of this, as well as the prosecution. This has been well over 3 years of a family, as well as hundreds or thousands of us who have gone through a lot. It's been hard. It's been heartbreaking. And to finally see some kind of justice, especially for his family, is incredible. And I just want to thank everybody for everything that you guys have done.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jane.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Janie Cadenas.
All right. Can you spell that last name?
Cadenas.
Okay, go ahead.
Also, like what Nicole said, wanted to thank you for making this such a fair and neutral trial through the process. I am here today as I have sat with the family for the last 3 years as a community member in Lorson Ranch, who has watched the turmoil that this has caused everybody in our community. 3 years ago, we heard as a neighborhood what happened, that a little boy went missing, and we rallied together in a way that most communities can never experience or imagine. We came together and we helped find ways to get media involved, to get search parties involved, to do everything we could to be of assistance to find this little boy, because Gannon wasn't just a neighbor, he was all of our little boys. For months and months until he was found, we were all scared to let our kids go outside because we were scared that they would be kidnapped. We didn't know what was going to happen. And through that process, we all came together and we met Landon and Al, those of us that didn't know them, and we built relationships and friendships and garnered a family relationship with them through that process. But this is just one thing that, as a community member, somebody who was a part of it from the beginning, that I can confidently say, this is the worst tragedy that anybody could ever go through, and every parent's nightmare. And I have watched and held Landon as she falls apart time after time. But we are here today and justice has finally been served for Gannon. And we want to thank you as a community for that opportunity for this to happen today.
Right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Jeff Davenport, Jeffdavenport. I am Gannon's great uncle. I'm Albert's uncle. and my sister Debbie, who hopefully will be speaking in a few minutes, is his grandmother. Because I am a couple of steps away from him in relation, even though I have personal memories of Gannon and the loving, wonderful young man that he was and the great man he would have been. I want to leave the depth of impact to his parents. So I would like to talk about the breadth of impact. The preciousness of an 11-year-old's life is beyond measure, and all other impacts to all the rest of us pale in comparison to the loss he suffered himself. But this now convicted murderer did not just murder Gannon. She murdered all of the love and joy and encouragement and security he would have brought to all those he encountered throughout his life. She murdered his children and his grandchildren, and all of the joy and love and encouragement and security they would have brought to all those they encountered throughout their life, and so on and so on. She murdered his junior prom, his senior prom, his high school graduation, his college years, his career, his marriage, his retirement, and his golden years. And it just goes on and on. Because of her crime, all of our fragile trust in one another has been further eroded. It's not an exaggeration to say that millions of people throughout the world have heard of this crime and will, as a consequence, be less trusting and more suspicious of those in whose care they entrust their children, even those who have loved and cared for their children for years. And because of her specious, cynical, calculated use of the NGRI defense in this case, those who are truly mentally ill will be treated with more suspicion and may not receive the help that they need. The reverberations of her murder of Gannon will ripple throughout eternity, and the impact of her crime is truly incalculable. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Allen?
Thank you, Judge. It's Veronica Birkenstock, spelled Beronica, Birkenstock, Birkenstock. I am Landon's aunt, Veronica, Aunt V, and his great aunt. Nothing in life prepares you for the murder of a child. No one ever thinks this can happen to your family. A little over 3.5 years ago, I got a call, a very dreaded call, that I needed to come and be with Landon. For over 3 years, I have dear left her sight at all the hearings, all the motions, and all the hearings that the defendant decided not to come to because she didn't think it was important. But regardless, we showed up, and we showed up for Gannon. I want to talk about forgiveness today because as a Christian, I have to forgive, not because I want to, because human flesh does not want to. The judge today, on behalf of Landon, we want this court to know that we have forgiven Letecia for what she did. God is the ultimate judger. But I pray today that your judge will give her what she deserves on this earth and will let God do the rest in eternity. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I would like to leave this Bible. And at some point in time, if you think it's okay, to give to Letecia as she serves her life sentence. And we hope that will be the punishment that you render shortly. But this is a life application Bible. For the rest of her natural life, I hope she will read the Word of God. And I hope that she will turn from her evil ways and the things that she did to our family. I have sat here for 6 weeks, and I have listened to the horrendous things that she did to my nephew. I don't want the last memory of him to be what she did to him. Our last memory of Gannon was one of fun, love, joy. So articulate, and despite everything, he was gifted and intelligent. He wasn't supposed to live. The day he was born, the doctors told us he had really no chance. He weighed 1 pound and a few ounces. I'll never forget the picture that Albert sent when he took his wedding ring and it fit all the way to his shoulder. For months, I saw Landon and Albert pray over their baby. And one of the happiest days was the day he got to come home. And I was there with them. I got to spend the first night holding him for the first time and looked in his beautiful little eyes, and he fought so hard to get there. His 11 years did have impact. And I want us to remember again, and it's who he was, not what this evil deed did to his memory. He is our hero and will always be our hero. Letecia tried to steal many things from my niece. She called her a drug addict. She called her homeless when she was in the hospital having her third child. She was there for months and months trying to save her life and her baby. She wasn't homeless. Landon's a good mother. She loved her children. And she loved Gannon. And her only son was taken away by someone who was just ferociously jealous of my niece. With all that being said, I pray that you will give her the sentence that she deserves. But I also pray that God will forgive her if she repents and turns from her evil ways.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Allen?
My name is Bob Rogers, B-O-B, R-O-G-E-R-S. My wife Patty and I are grandparents to Lena and Gannon, who we never had the opportunity to meet in person. Over the past couple of years, there's been a lot of tears and challenges with Al, who hopefully helped him walk through this tragedy. The person that comes to mind for me is Lena, and is Gannon's younger sister. And we have the opportunity to be grandparents to her. And she's a beautiful child. She sings beautifully. She's talented. What she doesn't have is an older brother to stand beside her as she goes through her life. She still mentions Gannon quite often, her brother. We never want the spirit of Gannon or the memory of Gannon to be lost. So I just am a loss for words. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am Deborah Pierce, P-E-A-R-C-E.
Sorry.
And I just wanted to thank you, first of all, Your Honor, for this court and everything that's been done for everyone who has so carefully and impartially cared for this case, for this loss of this precious child. And I feel that if Gannon were here today, he would say, please, please protect my family and be concerned for the loss that they've had. This has gone from my children to my grandchildren, little children who lost a cousin who never understood why something like this could happen. If he were here today, he would say, please take care of my family. Make sure that they're protected as time goes on and as this life goes on. And obviously to help us to go forward in this life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Landon Bullard, also referred to as Hyatt in this case, but Bullard's B-U-L-L-A-R-D. I miss you, Gannon, and I love you to the moon and back again. I know every day you're with me and your sisters, but that will never be taken away. The ache that I have for you, to hold you, to hug you, to tell you how much I love you, and to see your smile and your innocence. I remember all the pain your dad and I suffered with having children. It was never easy, and we were always fearful through the process. On September the 29th, 2008, our lives were forever changed. Our first biggest blessing came into the world, weighing only 1 pound and 6 ounces. You fought all the odds and developed a personality and a smile that's larger than life. You became my hero that day. You forever changed my heart and my life, and that will never change. That is something that can never be taken away from me. You came into this world fighting. And unfortunately, you left this world fighting. Your Honor, she fought against someone that he loved and trusted. Someone that myself and Albert both trusted and loved. Someone who can never understand what it means to love or trust anyone but herself. For more than 3 agonizing years, I've often wondered what I may say, or if I would even be able to. For 3 years, I have questioned every single possibility and scenario. For 3 years, I have tried to forgive you, but I can't. I want to. But no parent should have to bury their child. No parent should have to see or hear the horrific things you have done to the whole family. She has taken away the most precious gift in this world. Not just my family, not Al's family, but your own family. She destroyed dozens of lives of people who never wanted to believe that she could have done this. She knew how special Gannon was, and she knew what meant to most of me. I, in my heart, can never understand her hatred and insecurities. When it came to me, I did love her. Mother to mother, I trusted her with my children while trying to survive a complicated life with my 3rd child. And she used every opportunity to write a narrative of my life to try to take pieces of my life. And she already took some of it. That still wasn't enough. She searched. I lost my place. I don't know where I'm at now. She searched so hard for love when all along she had it, but she took it for granted. I didn't hold anger against you then. I still kept my heart open to her. You had so much love from Lena and Gannon, from Harley, her own daughter, that you willingly subjected to the chance of serving time for her crimes. Such an indicator of her inability to love anyone herself. You had support, appreciation for me, even when we couldn't see eye to eye, because I valued her for helping me with our children when I physically couldn't. Even when I was fighting for my kids, as you wrote, a false smear campaign against me and my children, and also Al. For me, I still appreciated that they were loved by you. So I thought. She had everyone fooled. She projected abuse and addiction claims against all of us, not just me, when all along she was the one harming innocent children. Anything to take the light off. Manipulating us, breaking my kids, and murdering my son. I can't say that she ruined my life, because that will be some form of sick victory for her. Because even through this process, it's been a game to her. The people who listened doesn't know her style.
or her sly jabs. She's even made at Albert and I. They do not know the significance of certain things she says or does. But we do. Instead of allowing her to take that power of hurting me further, I wanted to tell you this. Let me tell you what Gannon has done. Even to this day, even after you murdered him and she tried to taint any positive image of him, he has caused families and communities to come together. Children and adults have given their life to Christ. He has called unity in times of trial. He is a hero. She even tried to steal that away. A cape, huh? The one image of Gannon that was created for the world. After it went national, TV begging for the return of my son, my hero. How dare her? How truly sick and cruel is she? You stole so much from this world. Gannon's cousins, aunts, uncles, sisters, new siblings, grandparents, and friends are missing a huge portion of their lives without Gannon. Lena is missing her brother. Your Honor, I've never seen a bond between two siblings so close as theirs. She had to take that. Why? I'm afraid we may never know that answer, will we? I show his baby sister Nova pictures and videos of Gannon so she will always remember who he is, because she stole him from us. He is not forgotten and never will be. And it's so sad to sit here today and face her, a person even Gannon loved, one that I know while she was attacking and killing him and fought for his life, he defended himself against her, still loving her. A love she never deserved from him for what she has done. While she is too much of a coward to even come forward with the truth, she owes it to Gannon. But the lack of remorse and the lack of respect to Gannon through this child, her lack of compassion shows me that she and we were all wrong. She manipulated all of us and never loved Gannon, Lena, or Harley. I've sat here for over a month having to listen to her sick lies, even as she tried to destroy who I was and Albert as a father. I've had to sit and listen and watch every reenactment of images no one wants left in their mind. You wanted to leave us with that, knowing it would torture us. But you underestimated me. I am Landon, Gannon's mom, and that will never change. Through my hurt, anger, and pain, I will never be the monster that she is. I can never be filled with the hate that her heart holds. I pray that we will never have to look at her face again. I will continue to hold on to my faith. Vengeance is not mine, as I surely wish it could be at times, but it's the Lord's. I have to trust in that. Thank you, Judge Warner, for your compassion, your patience through this trial. I want to thank the juror for their attentiveness and time that they took for justice for my boy, to the detectives, officers, legal team for every single second they've poured out into Gannon's case, and to the community for your countless hours. Tisha, that was her biggest mistake. You underestimated this community and this defensive team, Lawson Ranch. They searched for and fought for Gannon within hours, and they never believed your lies from the moment they started. None of these people ever gave up on him. You never looked. All of these people I will forever hold close to my heart. Always Gannon strong, my G-men forever. Justice has been served today. Your Honor, I pray that you just give her the best sentencing, the longest sentencing that you can. This will not bring my son back, but I can sleep soundly for the first time in 3 years, knowing that you can never harm, this defendant can never harm anyone again, knowing Gannon will always be a true hero in a cape. He will always be my son. That will never be taken away.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Allen?
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger. Pushing each other to the limits, we were learning quicker.
Al Stauch, Gannon's father, capital Father. Last name Stauch. Stauch. I'm gonna start with something from my wife, not to go out of order, but she didn't think she could make it through it. So this is my wife, Melissa, and these are her words. Some may say or think that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Tisha. In part, that may be accurate, and I would be okay with that, because then Gannon would still be here. I too know the pain of losing a child. There is no greater pain. We are now lifelong grief partners, as this is a lifelong journey of pain with 2 sons waiting for us in heaven. I have some words from my daughter, Elena. I will address in the middle of my speech, but they're written in yellow, so I leave it to a child. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever God may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of the wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The poem I read is named Invictus, translated from the Latin means unconquerable. I quoted this same poem at Gannon's Memorial here in Colorado Springs back in August of 2020. Why August of 2020? When his body was ripped to shreds on January 27th? Well, as we heard testimony to, his body was found 1,370 miles away. And then the process to identify his maggot-infested remains withheld him from us until July 2020. As I stated in my testimony on the stand, Gannon was being born severely premature and barely filled my 2 hands the first time I held him. At the end of his life, after his body was cremated into a pile of ashes, he was ultimately no bigger than the first time I held him. As brutal as the wait became, I'm thankful to God and the bridge workers for finding him and returning his precious body to Landon and I. I quote the poem Invictus again, not to boast of my strength and perseverance, Your Honor, but to say to the world, I alone can control my actions and reactions. Your Honor, I refuse to allow anger to poison my soul and orient my life to a pursuit of vengeance. I refuse to allow pain to carry me through each day and promote the pursuit of medicinal retribution toward the offender. I refuse also to let my mind be clouded by inconsistency and emotions that deter me from the purpose in this life. Your Honor, the price I pay each and every day for this resolve is to only get pieces and parts of my son. Inconsistently through time. But the pain is too heavy and the anger too overwhelming and the desire for vengeance too vexing. Instead, each and every day I pursue peace. I seek joy in my life and let the love I have for my wife and family flow in and out of me like a mighty wave. As I told Tisha regularly at the end of our relationship, my joy is mine alone and she cannot rob me of that. I will learn to experience G more and more as time goes on, but as I did my best to instill into his precious soul, love, joy, service, and kindness are the pathway to take in life. This picture shows that in the 4th grade, he already had a mind for service. Throughout these past 3 years since Gannon was beaten and drugged, carved up, shot at point blank range and discarded like yesterday's garbage, I've encountered many people that would figuratively do the same to me. I have been questioned, compared as Tisha did to my abusive father, and ridiculed for my approach to finding Gannon. I hope now that the world has seen that I was assigned the most arduous task of finding Gannon in the only place that was possible for him to have been in the mind of a killer. Were my efforts fruitful? I believe so. But from the moment I did not see the Volkswagen Tiguan, or however you say it, at French Elementary on that Tuesday evening, a clear direction for finding Gannon pointed directly and precisely at Tecia. While others online, some who are even in the courtroom today, questioned my perceived lack of effort or concern, I stood still and stood firm in knowing that only one person had the information needed to find Gannon. Now I say woe to the person who questions a father's resolve when the safety and well-being of his children are at stake. I did not waver. I did not falter in the pursuit, nor did I allow the mentality of the mob to shake me. But it was only by the grace of God that Gannon's precious body was finally found. In Mark 4:39 of the Bible, in the middle of the storm, Christ arose and rebuked the wind and said, "Peace, be still." In times of trial in my life, from seeing my father being taken away in handcuffs, seeing that sweet 1 pound, 6 ounce baby boy my firstborn son being put into a Ziploc bag after he was born to help regulate his body temperature, and now searching for and never finding my son again, I have but one choice, and that is the times of trial and tribulation to have that peace and be still. As I alluded to previously, that stillness does provide an easy target for many who do not understand peace, hope, and even faith. Some, including Tecia, feasted on my stillness, attacked, and yes, left several scars. One of these scars comes in the form of the financial and residential ruin that began in the early days of this ordeal. I'm just going to skip this part because I don't want to make this any more about me. I'm not seeking any restitution, Your Honor. For the $1.50 a month I received from the defendant, Tecia, would just keep me connected to her for the rest of my life, and I don't want that. So absolutely no restitution, Your Honor. The murderer of which I speak was not always such. When I met Tecia, she was beautiful, extremely intelligent, as many have testified to, and a seemingly successful woman. A far cry from the nappy-headed, murderous, narcissistic, and arrogantly flippant human being that sits in our midst today. Having a background in teaching, social work, higher education, certified babysitting, and endless amount of credentials, that should render one trustworthy when it relates to the safety of children. However, although she remains too much a coward to state the facts of what she did to Gannon, too much a lily-livered, self-centered, pathological liar to ask for forgiveness, and too much the facade of one who actually cares for others to have taken her frustration out on an adult or one who could defend themselves, she will one day give an account through her words or through her time. Sending pictures of Gannon sleeping to Landon and I was telling, as the boy looked pale and absent of the energies that so defined him. This is what a happy, healthy little boy looks like when he's sleeping in the next picture. That's what a little boy sleeping looks like. These pictures on the screen are of a happy, healthy little boy that's sleeping sweetly, healthily where he lay. The impact Tecia had as a result of this heinous crime stretches far wider and far deeper than I could depict through my statement today. 2 other people torn to pieces as a result of this are Gannon's sister, Lena, and Harley. Speaking of Harley, I feel as though I've lost 2 children as a result of this tragedy. One of which I will never see on this earth again, and the other which I do not know if a relationship can be salvaged with. Now for Lena. The video you saw as submitted in evidence, her bebopping down the street, is actually an excellent depiction of Lena and her happiness and her joy in life. She is very loving, trusting, and at times way too social. Normally, you might be concerned by your little girl talking to the utility guy working in the front yard, but in this case, it was the inside of her own home that was of grave concern. Nonetheless, her loss, Lena's loss, is like none I can even imagine. She lost her big brother, her only brother at the time. I still do not know if she has fully processed or fully understands the gravity of the situation, but regardless has pressed forward and is thriving as best as she can. I am so proud of her. And these are her words. Once again, they're in yellow, so I'll do the best I can. And this is what I asked her if she wanted to say anything to Tecia, and this is what she said in her sweetest mind that she has. That you do not do that to people, especially your stepkids. And that it is never all right to do these things. How sweeter of a response can you get? Now for my precious, premature firstborn son. Get it? I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought you'd be in danger, buddy, or I wouldn't have not left you. At home with what turned out to be your murderer and the last person to ever see you on this earth. I'm so sorry. Through a father's eyes, children are truly a gift from God and among the best and most perfect creations God can make. Your Honor, I do need to clear one thing up with the defense. It was said both in the opening statement and in the closing, somehow Gannon has been compared to a demon. And I understand the process, I do. But if they want to take the case up of Gannon being a demon, I will line people up from Alaska to Denver to Colorado Springs, all the way to South Carolina to testify against them. Gannon was nobody's demon. I don't care how much anyone was abused or anything, he was not anyone's demon. Oh, okay. Gannon was truly my buddy. Very recently, before he died, the most alarming thing he did was call me dad. Up until age 10 or 11, I was daddy. But in the last months of his life, I was just dad. A signal that he was coming into those junior high, pre-teenage years. Another amazing thing that is he finally started asking me regularly to play ball with him. He was never too much into sports for most of his life, but that last 6 to 9 months, he really started enjoying playing ball. Some of the most memorable times were him running little 5-yard football routes in the street in front of our house. Most of the time he dropped the ball, but he kept asking, let's do it again. I almost had it that time, Daddy. Oh, and that Nintendo Switch. One of the most difficult pieces of evidence to give up was his Nintendo, because that probably has the most of him on it. Knowing I may never see that again is truly devastating. For him, many of his games were not just games, but a challenge to overcome, as I made him beat specific games before I would buy him the next one. I remember not long before he died, him beating the old school Zelda game he had. As he felt he was getting close to beating the final monster, he paused it, ran upstairs, and we sat at the kitchen island, and he beat it right there together with me. He was as excited as I ever saw him. With all of that and all of the pain of only being able to see him play through the one YouTube video he was able to make, which I'm about to play, I can sleep in peace at night because the father I am and the son he is was culminated as always in our final embrace as he ran out of arms and downstairs to watch Pokemon, I in his heart and he in mine. If we could try to play that video, just maybe the first 10 or 15 seconds of it.
Hey guys, and today I'm about to play some Sonic Mania.
Alright, let's zoom in.
And yes, cameraman is right here. Grandpa Star White Gaming. And yes, sign up for our channels. We're going to be doing a lot of these together. Give a shout out to him, his channel, Freedom.
Thank you. I was one of the many he hoped to make and the only one he was actually able to make. I do want to add something that I don't have in my speech that me and Landon already had a conversation about this, and I owe her an apology as well as she already gave me one, that we allowed Tisha to manipulate us into some of the pain and disagreements that we had between one another. And Landon, I'm sorry. But I will say this, Tisha was not the glue to keep everything together. She was not the answer. And this is not a jab, Landon, okay? But Lena still lives with me. Tisha, you were not the answer. Now, Your Honor, if I have any influence on the final sentence for Tisha, first I ask to be stripped of my last name immediately.
Yes.
It's nauseating and infuriating to hear her called Miss Stauch this past 3 years. Secondly, I asked that for every mile she drove Gannon across the country, she spent 1 day in solitary confinement. I think that took us in between 3 and 4 years. After that journey is complete, I recommend her sentence be equal to every year she stripped off of Gannon's life, which for the average male in America right now is 77. So that would give her 66 more years, in addition to the 11 he lived. Lastly, for every year of Harley's life that she abusively manipulated that child, she should have an additional year of prison. That adds 21 years to the total. I think without parole, that should suffice. I pray also that Tisha lives the fullest and happiest life that any inmate possibly can live. I also pray that every night before she falls asleep, her last breath before she drifts off sounds just like the breath that she describes Gannon breathing as life left his body. And that all through her sleep, she dreams of all the fun they had at Disney and other places we went throughout our time together. And then every morning as she is about to wake, the end of her dream, the last words Gannon spoke or screamed or cried, "Tisha, stop, you're hurting me. Why, Tisha? Daddy, help me. I want my mommy. Why couldn't you let her just be a mama's boy? That's all he wanted to be. He just loved his mama. I wish she would tell me what those words were so I would know." And then as she speaks those words, the sound of a gunshot goes off and she wakes. Every day and night, I pray she relives just those moments and then wakes up to a nice, warm, and kosher breakfast. In conclusion, I would like to share a picture of Gannon in his final state and find a resting place, and thank everyone that has had a positive impact on my family and I. To everyone that has shared the positive impact Gannon has had on your life, from a proud and broken father, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I'd like to pause until we can get that last photo up.
Not getting a feed from your laptop. It's fine. Oh, there it is.
Thank you, everyone.
Alan?
I think that concludes the comments from family and friends, Judge. So I'm not sure if you're ready to hear sentencing comments from me or if you want to do a different process.
Let me hear the sentencing comments from you. The last person that I always hear from in the sentencing is the defendant. So
Can I have just a moment? Judge?
you may go ahead.
Yeah, just in the abundance of caution, I would ask the court to keep restitution open for a period of time. Obviously, Mr. Stauch is not asking for any restitution, but there may be some that we want to submit. And so I would ask the court to keep that open.
Well, based on the new case regarding timelines, I'm going to give you 49 days to submit an order.
Thank you.
If there is an objection, you'll need to file the objection within 14 days after that. And that'll get us all right. So 49 days, 14 if there's an objection, and if there is, we'll have a hearing.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Judge, I'm not going to make a long drawn out statement. I think the comments from the family and friends of the Stauch family said it better than I ever could about the impact that Gannon had on their lives. The loss of Gannon from his family and to this community will never be made right through this process. We all know that. The defendant, through her own actions, tore Gannon's family apart, tore this community apart. At the same time, I've never seen a community come together the way this community did in the face of such tragedy. Over an 11-year-old boy who most of us never knew. The defendant manipulated this community, Gannon's family, the investigation. Been a prosecutor for a long time, Judge. You've seen a lot of cases. I've never seen the kind of horror that this defendant brought down on a community and a family. The torture that Gannon had to suffer in the last moments of his life are unspeakable. No matter what sentence you give us, Judge, and I know what that sentence is going to be for the most part, no matter what the sentence is, we'll never bring Gannon back. But it will go a long ways towards healing this community. I hope healing Landon. I hope healing Al. They're going to live the rest of their lives second guessing every decision they made as it relates to leaving their children in the care of this defendant. Through no fault of their own. Judge, on count one and count two merges into count one. The only sentence available is life in prison without parole. As to count four, tampering with a deceased human body, driving Gannon's body over 1,300 miles away, hiding it from view, hoping it would never be found, ask for the maximum sentence of 12 years, Judge, and that it be running consecutive to the life in prison without parole. Tampering with physical evidence is an F6. It's 1 to 1.5 years. I ask that you give max on that as well and run that consecutive. Judge, we do have that other pending case, 20 CR 3170, hanging out there. In the grand scheme of things, well, I'd love to prosecute this defendant for that charge as well. In the interest of justice, I would like to see this defendant in Department of Corrections custody as soon as possible. And so we are dismissing that count or that charge. Thank you, Judge.
Right, at this point in time, the defense has an opportunity to present statements in mitigation. Mr. Tellini.
We stand with sentences as a matter of law. It's now on some council. I don't have pre-sentence confinement. Court staff said she ordered that she be allowed to proceed in.
Get me an order.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Stauch, I heard what your attorney had to say, but I need to hear it from you. You have a right to address the court at this point in time regarding any matter that you want me to consider for sentencing. Do you have anything that you wish for me to consider, ma'am? All right.
Actually, there is.
Go ahead.
Or consider this or let's admit proof, like a request for privy places in San Carlos.
I don't have the ability to do that. DOC determines where its inmates go, and I'm not going to make a recommendation one way or the other. And I'm going to apologize before I do this. I've heard a lot. I want to take about 10 minutes to put my thoughts in order. I'll come back with my sentencing at 3:25.
All rise.
I'm gonna wipe that smile right off her face, I swear to God. And she shouldn't have been drugged. All right. So far today, we heard she's guilty on all counts. We just heard the family speak and the community. We watched the judge cry. We're all crying. Letecia looked drugged. And I know people are saying that, but I noticed at the end she was talking and she looked like she's doing one of these. So I don't know if she is or not. But that at the end was unbelievable. The judge was crying. Everybody was crying. What Alan Landon said, what everybody said, the impact. Yeah, he needs a minute to collect his emotions. That was something else. And some of the things that Al said too, both of them, Al and Landon, just say, you go. And he wanted her to have, for every mile she drove Gannon, which is almost 1,400 miles, to have a day in solitary confinement. And that was just the beginning. I didn't get to hear the full thing about where she was requesting to go. We saw Will Cook smile or cry too. Well, he was Mr. Chuckles yesterday and the day before and all the other days. I should say not yesterday, but last week. And she has nothing to say. But she did hang her head a little bit lower. She has nothing to smile about, but yeah, she is, isn't she? She requested the psych ward? Is that what she did? I don't know. So they're going to be back in 7 minutes. Oh, San Carlos. Okay, I think that's what I kind of heard. It was hard to hear. She's not drugged. She looks like something's different for her today, but she just looked like she's doing one of these. Yeah, she did roll her eyes. I saw her roll her eyes. For Gannon. Let's see, where did that go? I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. God bless you, baby. May you rest easy from now on. That was unbelievable. It was something else. Thank you too for that. For Gannon. Let's see, where did that go? I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. God bless you, baby. May you rest easy from now on. That was unbelievable. It was something else. Thank you too for that. Yeah, maybe she thinks she wanted yeah, it's not confirmed. I didn't say it was confirmed she was drugged or not. She just kind of looked at the end like she was bobbing a little bit. But that doesn't mean anything, right? With Letecia. I hope she wasn't drugged and that she can be fully coherent in what's going on. But he needs a breather. He needs to probably go in the back. The judge has to cry it out too because of all the things she's done. And like they all said, what we've witnessed in the past couple years was unbelievable. Yeah, she was laughing and rolling her eyes. Yeah, Al talking about Gannon's last words. I just about lost my you know what several times out here. Well, Al gave her the lowdown of what he thinks. And so did Landon. I love how she said, I am Landon. I am Gannon's mom. And Al stand up there and say, I am Gannon's dad, Father. Yeah, thank you for being here. We're all hot messes right now. Woo, that was powerful. I so hope that Judge Werner's gonna do the sentencing and give her a little extra, like a little tongue lashing. I loved Al asking for his name back too. We are all hot messes. Yeah, the kosher breakfast, that was great right at the end. Enjoy your smeat, because that's not kosher. It's just torturous. What she's done is torturous. It's above and beyond, just like the killing. And she just has to keep going and going. And even today, she has to have her last little smirk. Well, we're going to have it. So he's going to be on back in 2 minutes. I hope the judge speaks his mind too. It was incredible when Al was asking for the time he did for each thing she did. Oh, you guys, we're going to need a good nap after. The judge decides the sentencing. Brooke says I'm 3 glasses of wine in. Whew. We are all in this together today, hey? Agreed. This won't affect Letecia. Oh, me too. Some people are 2 bottles in here. I was going to write a couple of notes while I was listening, but I wanted to be very present in what they were saying. So I didn't make any notes, but I'm sure I'll review it, and I might just, I don't know if I do a video on it or just maybe clip it for you guys. He'll be back any second now, and we'll have him back in. Yeah, I saw the judge wiping his eyes. I wonder on the weekend if he reviewed some of the stuff too. Well, I'm sure he did, but I mean her behavior and what she's done to this family over and over. The guilty verdict. Let's see, put this in here. Oh, great. Now I'm having a hot flash. Oh, you guys. Wait, I need a piece of paper. My notes.
A parent's worst nightmare is getting a phone call letting them know that something has happened to their child. How much worse must that nightmare be when law enforcement asks not for a picture of your loved one, but rather DNA and dental records? I've also heard it said that one of the worst tragedies a parent can experience is to outlive a child. I have known people, both professionally and personally, who have gone through that. It never leaves them, but the sharpness of the pain does diminish to some extent over time. I cannot fathom the pain Mr. Stauch and Ms. Bullard have experienced as a result of the defendant's actions. A sentence in a criminal case such as this will not change the fact that their son's life was taken from them, and no sentence I impose and nothing I say will ever change that fact. Ms. Stauch, you betrayed the person you loved enough to marry. You told your husband lies and took away someone he loved. You took away every day that Mr. Stauch or Ms. Bullard could have had with their son. When you take a life, regardless of how you do that, you forever alter the future. Neither Mr. Stauch nor Ms. Bullard will ever see their son graduate from high school, go through the joy and the pain of that first love, or get married. They will never know what kind of impact their son may have had on the world if only he had lived to become an adult. And had Gannon's body not been found, they never would have known what happened to Gannon. They would always have had a lingering doubt about what happened to Gannon. And I cannot imagine the pain and sense of loss associated with that. You betrayed your daughter, Harley Hunt. I cannot imagine the emotional impact that you have had on her due to your selfish and calculated actions. This is a young woman that trusted you to put her interests above yours. This is a young woman who believed in you and believed you were innocent of this crime right up until the time that you pled not guilty by reason of insanity. And she still loves you. That's natural for a child, and it doesn't matter how much older they get. You were supposed to protect her. I cannot imagine the guilt she feels or the therapy that she will need to address your betrayal. There is no evidence that she had anything to do with the murder or your cover-up of it, but some people still think that she is somehow involved. She wasn't. The incredible strength of will and courage that it took for her to come in and testify is amazing to me. But she did it because, as she said, it was the right thing to do. And while thankfully she didn't testify, let's not forget about Lena. You betrayed her too. You took her brother from her and forever altered her family dynamics. She will always wonder who she can trust and will always feel that loss. She was there the day you killed Gannon. His body was still in the house when she got back from school. At some point, you even claimed this 8-year-old girl helped you move her brother's body from the basement to the back of your car. That's just simply not true. As she gets older, Lena is going to want to know more, and she's going to want to know if there was something that she could have done to prevent this. I hope she comes to realize that she has no fault in all of this. You betrayed your stepson, and you took his life. You took away everything he was and everything he could ever become. I can't imagine the terror and confusion that he must have felt in the last moments of his life when he knew his life was being taken by someone he trusted to protect it. Your attempt to raise the claim that you did this because of your adverse childhood is also a betrayal of people that have mental health issues. It is no secret that there is a large part of our population that has mental health issues. It's also no secret that our country and our health system could do a much better job addressing mental health issues than it does. However, the number of people with mental health issues who become violent is small, and the number who become murderers is smaller still. Your claim that a mental health issue caused the murder in this case is a disservice to all those who struggle with mental health issues every day. This isn't the first case I have presided over in which sanity or a mental condition of the defendant has been raised as a defense. I have had cases where the defendant's mental condition caused the defendant to act out in a certain fashion. But even in those cases, I have never seen conduct like this. I understand the claim of dissociative identity disorder. I have seen something resembling that, and I have seen defendants with schizophrenic disorders. I can understand those. What I have seen is that the mental condition causes the person to act a certain way, and when they realize what they did, they are astonished by what happened, or they have no memory of what happened. Your claim is that it was another personality that murdered Gannon, but there is no time during the minutes, hours, and days following the murder where Letecia came out and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body around in my luggage? That just isn't credible. You knew what you were doing. You made a number of clear and conscious decisions to cover or disguise what you had done. Claiming a lack of motive is a common defense tactic, and it can be a sound strategy. The truth is, however, that it only takes a moment to make a bad decision that results in disastrous consequences. And oftentimes, we never know why a defendant chose a particular course of action. However, that does not mean that they did not intend to undertake a course of action. Sometimes, as in this case, the likely explanation is anger. An 11-year-old boy with burns who feels that he's not being taken care of. An 11-year-old boy on the verge of being a teenager. Those of us who have lived through people or kids with that were teenagers, we know how that is. It is not hard to imagine Gannon saying something, "You're not my mom. I want my mom. I want my dad." And that would be enough to make you really angry. But anger is not an excuse. A defendant is responsible for the choices they made and the actions they undertook, even though those choices arose out of or were motivated by anger. It's clear that you hated and were jealous of Landon Bullard. You saw yourself as a better mother than she was. It's clear from the evidence that you had some resentment from being left with Mr. Stauch's children. It's clear you had some resentment toward Mr. Stauch because he traveled as part of his job. Some of that manifested as early as Al's assignment in Alaska when you made allegations against the people in his unit. That caused Al to have to return from Alaska. And in one of the phone calls that were played for the jury, you talked about having to take care of his kids while he was away and what a good mother you were. It's clear you felt trapped. You wanted out. You were searching for a new job and a new location in Florida. Mr. Stauch had been gone on his new assignment for less than 2 days when the fire in the basement occurred. I can imagine that you saw your whole future consisting of taking care of Mr. Stauch's children while he was off doing his thing, and that's not the future that you wanted. I can imagine Gannon at some point after he sustained his burns telling you wanted his real mom and how that comment would have made you angry. You took your frustration and anger for the marriage, the child care, the absence of Al, and even living in Colorado. You took all of that out on Gannon. The evidence suggests you first stabbed Gannon repeatedly, 18 times. Based on the number of defensive wounds, he was clearly conscious for some of that. He was certainly gravely wounded. And chillingly, it would also explain how you were able to mimic the sound of Gannon breathing in one of your sessions with Dr. Lewis. Those were probably close to his last breaths. He was dying but not dead. The evidence could also lead one to conclude that he either fell or rolled off the bed where you shot him in the head and then beat him with the butt of a gun or a baseball bat. That would explain the blood found at different levels on the walls in Gannon's bedroom. I'm also reminded of the look you had on your face when you slipped your handcuffs while being transported back to Colorado and attacked Deputy James. I shudder to think that that was probably the last thing that Gannon saw before he died. You have shown no remorse throughout this process. Instead, you've made a choice to build a web of lies. When you gave an interview to Detective Jessica Bethel on January 29 of 2020, you lied to her about Gannon running away and that he was actually taken by a guy named Eduardo. When you explained that to Detective Bethel, you said you needed to lie because you didn't want to face the consequences. You told her that you were trying to come up with a plan about what you should do. And finally, you told her you really thought you could fix this. I think that's true. You lied because you didn't want to face the consequences. You needed to come up with a plan to fix this, and that plan involved covering up what you had done. It involved lie upon lie. But you slipped up at various points and let kernels of truth escape. In one conversation with Mr. Stauch, you told him the FBI needed to close the borders of Colorado and needed to close I-95. I-95 doesn't go through Colorado. It's an interstate that runs along the entire eastern seaboard. It's also not far from where you dumped Gannon's body. When questioned by Detective Bethel, you told her that Mr. Stauch might also make up some kind of story about you coming at him with a knife. You said you would never use a knife like that. Yet Gannon was stabbed 18 times. Your actions in this case also show a very conscious attempt to avoid responsibility in this case. You started out with the story that Gannon had run away. You gave some hints that it might be related to bath salts or drug use by Gannon. You stayed with that story until you were called into EPSO for an interview. You knew they weren't going to buy the story that Gannon ran away. Then you came up with the abduction. And you stayed with some iteration of that for a long time. But all of those versions had one thing in common. You were always the victim. In one, you're beaten and raped and Gannon was abducted. In one, someone stole Gannon out of a truck in the parking lot. In another, you let someone drive Gannon to a hospital to take care of a head injury that he had after falling off a bike. In all of them, you could claim it wasn't your fault. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then you got arrested. You stuck to the story that it was someone else that took Gannon. During the hours that you spoke with Special Agent Grusing, he told you he thought sometimes good people do bad things and sometimes it's an accident. Then they found Gannon's body. Then you saw the mountain of evidence against you. And this is a mountain the size of Everest. What was your position after that? Well, it was an accident. And you, Letecia, didn't even do it. It was Maria Sanchez. You carefully crafted your new story to continue to avoid responsibility. It also allowed you to take advantage of the out that Mr. Grusing and Mr. Stauch suggested much, much earlier when they asked you if this was an accident. Now it was an accident. Your Maria Sanchez personality shot Gannon by mistake because she thought he was an intruder in a cape. Multiple personalities is not credible in this setting, as regardless of how many personalities you have, you only have one body. I have presided over cases where a mental disease or defect prevented a defendant from remembering the course of events, including the commission of the crime. Without exception, those defendants have been terrified when contacted by law enforcement because there was a period of time in their lives that they could not account for. Their body may have sustained an injury and they don't know how it happened. They may have some new object in their house or on their person and they have no idea where they got it from. We all have free will and we all make choices based on that free will. The people who suffer from the mental disorder you claim are terrified because their free will has been taken from them and they are being subjected to things and experiences they don't understand and don't have any recollection of. You didn't behave anything like that. One of the purposes is to impose an appropriate sentence for the criminal conduct that occurred. Another purpose is to punish an offender by imposing a sentence that takes into account the seriousness of the offense. Yet another purpose of sentencing is to prevent crime and promote respect for the law by providing an effective deterrent to others likely to commit a similar offense. Anyone who's been in my courtroom before knows that I've said sentencings are the most difficult thing that I do. That's especially true in cases where someone has lost his or her life. Nothing I or the law can do will ever bring that person back. I have handled hundreds, if not thousands of criminal cases over the years. I think at this point in my career, I've presided over something like 200 jury trials. I've sentenced hundreds more defendants pursuant to plea agreements. This is not the first murder case that has come before me. This is not the first case I have presided over which involves harm to a child. This is not the first case I have had where a person who was in an unhappy marriage committed a crime. Sadly, statistically, there is a high correlation between violent acts, including murders, and family members. I have had a number of cases which have demonstrated one person's capacity for cruelty toward another human being. I can, however, say without hesitation that the facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen. Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law. As such, with respect to the charge of first-degree murder after deliberation, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. With respect to the charge of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, I remand you to the custody of Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. Those two sentences will merge. If you have questions about that, you can ask your attorneys. With respect to the charge of tampering with a deceased human body, I'm also going to sentence you to 12 years, followed by a 3-year period of parole. That sentence is to be consecutive to the life sentences that I've already imposed. With respect to tampering with physical evidence, I'm going to impose an 18-month sentence. That sentence is also consecutive to the sentences for the murder charges that I have imposed. I also understand, with the consent of the prosecution, and I'm assuming no objection from the defense, that I will dismiss all the charges in 20 CR 3170, close that out, subject to restitution, give the people 49 days for restitution, 14 days for response, and if there's an issue, we will set it within the 90 days, from. I think that resolves all outstanding matters. Is there anything else that the prosecution wishes for me to address?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense?
Yes.
Court will be in recess.
Okay, well, there we have it. Sentencing, she gets life without parole for counts 1 and 2. No, Letecia only spoke, well, all she said was no, that's it. She wasn't going to say anything. The judge was amazing. Simply amazing. He has her number. He knows exactly what she did. What he said there today, it just was nothing short of amazing. And super emotional. He covered everything. And I'm glad he said that she had no remorse, because that's all we've seen through the whole thing. And now we don't have to see her face ever again until we hear something in the news about her. I'm glad he addressed her conduct as well. Whew. Hot mess, eh? Express. 7,000 of our friends hanging out in here today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting Gannon and the family. That judge is amazing. And I don't even know another word for what he said. But he has her, he knows what she's about. I don't know what else to say, guys. We've been on for a while. And I'm so glad that you guys are here with me and we're able to watch that together. I think we have to process it a little bit. I am I'm going to take some time today and just chill out. I can't go out in nature because it's raining. Did you hear while they were doing the statements, there was a lot of thunder and I think it was hailing outside. So justice is served. Letecia's going where she needs to go. And this video will be up and I'll try and do some chapters so that you can see who's speaking when and you'll be able to comb through it. I don't know. Sometimes it takes a while to process and go from there. So I don't know what else to say. I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm so happy that Landon and Al and the family can hopefully get a little bit more sleep and a little bit more peace, even though they won't have their little boy back. But they certainly won't see that evil witch do anything to anybody else. I wanted to knock that smirk right off her face too. It was just so disrespectful, even a day like this. That's why I was wondering if she was drugged or what, because she was kind of doing a little swirly at the end there. I liked too when he said to him how she failed Harley as well. He said he's never seen conduct like this. And he said no time where Letecia came out and said what and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body? He said she was clearly jealous of Landon. It just kept going. He was so good. He was so good. Worst case, he said, in 200 trials. Yeah, she in defense not so giggly. Well, she was giggly actually today. Yeah, there's no apology from Letecia. There never will be. Judge Werner was spot on. Whew. Just breathe now. Hopefully, this case will be an example to anybody else who's thinking of murdering other people. Just not do it. Oh, right, breathe it out, everybody. Let's just bring it down now. We'll do that together for a few minutes, and then in about 7 minutes, we'll call it. So, yeah, hug your loved ones for sure today. Why did Letecia not make a statement? Because my guess is she'll never make a statement. She won't make a statement because she doesn't think she did anything wrong. In her mind, she's justifying everything. There's nowhere else I'd rather be than this support system you developed. How crazy to finally get to the end. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Thank you for my mods. They're amazing. All of you guys are amazing. Thanks for watching me ugly cry throughout the day. It's actually incredibly helpful being on here and sharing this with you guys, because some days it's a little rough covering this stuff. And I know you guys are going through it too. If there's anything, any links that are going to be coming up, I'll post it in my community tab regarding the case. I know there was a GoFundMe for both Al and Landon separately. I can post that. Anything else that comes up, I can post. And then we just have faith today in the judicial system because she got it. She got what she needed. We were all ugly crying, yeah. Everybody was ugly crying today. Guilty. Her verdict was guilty on all counts. Nowhere in there not guilty by reason of insanity. And the beautiful Judge Werner was amazing in his sentencing and his comments, what he had to say. And he took everybody's words in, and he stayed present in that, and you could see him crying, and he was wiping his eyes. Next up is Lori, that's right. Thank you for staying here for years. I can't believe it's been years. And thanks to the jury, that's right. They're the ones who made that decision, didn't they? What about the name change? I don't know. I think they were going to be able to take care of that. Kenny says we just forget about, where is that? We just forgot about the West babies. We didn't. I have my assistant getting all the information on that too. It's just for two main cases that I've been doing for 3.5 years. I've been doing that. So I've been working from 5 o'clock in the morning till midnight every day, listening to the cases, scripting, filming, editing. So we just move on to everybody. I like to see each case through to the end. Yeah, somebody asked if I wonder if she'll be dealt with when she's in prison. Yeah, I'm sure. That was a tough but necessary watch. Exactly. Mimi needs a mod nap. Thank you. Thank you to everybody's moderating. Such a good job. No, this isn't what broke up my marriage. No. No. Question, did the judge give her the solitary confinement requested from the father? No. All we heard was she got life in prison with no parole for both counts of murder. And then the third and fourth, she got, what do I have here? Did I write it down? I thought I wrote it somewhere. I don't know where it went now. 18 was it? Oh, I wrote it in here. That's why. I'll probably get a family lawyer for the name change, I would think. No, she could just get that registered. One of the lawyers would just register it at the registry office. That's what they do in Canada, anyways. Whew. Yeah, we just need to breathe this one out today, hey? I hope Gannon's giving his mama a big, big hug from above. I know he is, and the family, his man. I mean, I'm in awe of the behavior. Like, it was hard enough, and then she even in court just acting, thank God they didn't have to see her from the front. Yeah, 12, yeah, I think you're right, that was it, Carrie. 12 years with, 3 years probation. Yeah, and then 18 months on the last count, that's correct. That's what sounds correct anyway. I don't know if there's a press conference. I don't know. Maybe from Michael Allen? Thank you, Darby. That's very kind. The charges that was dropped, I believe, was she had a charge about trying to break out of prison. I think that's what they were referring to. In 45 minutes is that what it's supposed to be? Okay, now I'm getting another hot flash. Oh, you guys. Plus I have a ring light and that's very hot. 5:45 their time. Okay, so that's another hour, hour and 45 minutes. 5:45. I'll look for that. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back on and we'll do that. So this is going to be a day of live streams. I can come back on at 5:45 and see. Do we know who's doing the live stream? Is it KRDO? Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. No, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the assault on the officer. I thought it was too, but I think it's the attempted escape. Yes, absolutely. I can have a minute. Let's do that. I love that. We'll do a full minute of silence for Gannon. You can send the blue hearts in there. A little bit of a hot mess right now. Okay. You have them on there. We're going to begin. I'll just wait till it turns my thing so I can know it's a full minute. We'll have a moment. And then after that, I'll see about where we can return and we can watch. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be there. You guys are going to start now. Okay. We'll do a little bit longer than a minute and I'll be quiet. Actually, I can. Thank you, everybody. Now, somebody's saying it's 4:45 that the press conference is. Can you tell me where you're finding that information or where I can find that information? Somebody's saying 5:45, somebody's saying 4:45, KRDO. Maybe if it's 4:45, we stay on. We take a quick break and then we hold on. Thank you for all the blue hearts for Gannon. Oh. KRDO just announced it. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it just says she was sentenced to life without parole. Agreed. It's been long and painful. Won't bring Gannon back or erase or ease the pain of anyone involved. It will ensure that she will never hurt another child. Yes, it's 4:07 here as well. And what to do. Yeah, I noticed that Letecia's lawyer was also crying. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to take a break, have a little food. I'll see about the press conference, and then hopefully I can also stream that. I'm going to need a little bit of a break. So we'll do that. We'll take a little break, breathe it out, get a drink of water. I'll see about the press conference, and then we'll breathe it out, okay? Thank you so much, you guys, for being here again. I think at one point there was 7,000 of us. And we'll go from there. Thank you. I love you. Thanks for supporting me and my videos and watching and being there. And we're doing this together. Okay, I'll be back. Thank you. Talk to you soon.